Hi guys, thanks for clicking on the video. Welcome back to the channel, or if it's your first time, hello, my name is Elliot. I'm a barber based in central London, and this is episode 57 of Men's Grooming Weekly. So today we're going to do a little bit of a different feel to it. I'm going to answer a few different topics. Put a post onto YouTube last night trying to get people to ask me anything. So I'm going to answer a few of those questions today. There's also a few questions on TikTok, which I've got, so I'm going to answer a few of them. A little bit of insight into the hair, into shaving, but also then a little bit about me as well. Okay, so the first question is from YouTube, and it's, does shaving feel satisfying? Just wanted to know because it looks satisfying when you do it. Most of the time it does feel super satisfying, yeah, like it's really nice. I actually really enjoy the whole ritual of going through the whole process of putting the oil on the hands, whipping the shaving cream up in the bowl, putting that onto the face, and then actually shaving it off with a razor and doing it all, obviously because I'm recording it, doing it in silence, so it's really nice and relaxing, always in like quite a nice environment as well. I think the great thing about it is that it's turned it, by doing all this process, it's turned it much more into, say, a ritual and something to look forward to, rather than what I used to think of it as was like very much a chore of like just trying to get the hairs off the face, and it always used to be frustrating. I'd never really enjoy it. I'd always feel like I always got spots and redness under my neck, and it was very much just a process of just trying to quickly get the hairs off my face. So now, yeah, I do find it really satisfying, apart from the times when I make a bit of a mistake and will sometimes cut myself. When I do cut myself, that a lot of the times that comes from me focusing on the camera and trying to think about how it's going to sound or how it's going to look on the camera, as opposed to just forgetting about the camera and just worrying about the shave. I always feel like I shave way better and have a much more enjoyable shave when I'm just focusing on myself, completely forget about the camera, forget about what the microphone is doing, is that getting muffled or anything, just completely forget about it, and then just look into the mirror and just completely relax. That's always when I have the most satisfying shave. But yeah, it is a real nice thing. What's one of the most awkward things you've experienced as a barber? So I guess the one thing that sticks out in my mind when I read that question was at my first job when I first moved down to London. Actually, there was a guy who he would come and get his beard trimmed every single week. Really nice guy, got on really well with him. I think he took a bit of a liking to me, and there was one time where I was trimming his beard and he just all of a sudden burst out laughing. Obviously he had a gown on, and I was like, oh, what's up? Is everything all right? What's going on? And it turns out that he had got himself a little bit excited, and yeah, luckily there was a gown to be able to not show what was underneath it, but he'd got himself a little bit excited and decided to as opposed to just hiding it and not letting me know, he decided to, yeah, let me know exactly how excited he was. So that was definitely, I'd say, the most awkward experience I can think of whilst cutting hair. To be honest, I never really have any awkward moments. There's nothing really that sticks out in my mind apart from that one. I always find it super relaxed. Like if somebody wants to talk, then great. If somebody doesn't want to talk, also great. So yeah, I think you read the room, and yeah, generally there's never really anything awkward, but that's definitely the one that stands out in my mind as something that was definitely on the more awkward side for sure. Next question, can you tell us more about yourself, like your education background, where you grew up? Just wanted to get to know you a bit better. Right, so I grew up, well, at the moment I live in London. I'm in central London now. This is the shop, which is in Soho, but originally I grew up in Coventry, which is right in the centre of England. Grew up, we had lots of land. We had sort of 7 acres of land, so grew up with loads of space, loads of woodland area. So as a youngster, I had a quad bike. We could just sort of go around and just go crazy on that. That was great fun. Really loved doing that. Used to play loads of sports. As a youngster, I had so much energy, so I used to do every sport. Luckily, Mum would ferry me around every night, and every night there'd be something new I was doing. So whether that was football, rugby, trampolining, golf, tennis, badminton, Mum just got me involved with absolutely everything because I had so much energy and I just wanted to do stuff all the time. So I was, yeah, really sporty, just wanted to go and play all of the time. And I guess in life I've always kind of picked up things fairly easily, but the one thing which then really stood out whilst I was playing it was golf, and that's the one sport where I guess I kind of got fairly good at, because I got better at that than the rest of the sports. I started playing that more seriously. So yeah, so to be honest, actually becoming a professional golfer, that was the first goal. I wanted to be a professional golfer. I wanted to go and travel the world playing golf, and I did for a little bit. I turned pro when I was about 22, I think. Did that for about 2 years, but realistically I was never good enough. I was talking about this with a friend last night, actually, and yeah, in hindsight, I should never have turned pro, because then when you turn pro and you go travelling around and doing all this stuff, my God, you just hemorrhage money, and the amount of money that Mum and Dad must have spent and other people spent over the years it's almost, it's definitely a figure that you don't really even want to work out, because actually if you did work it out, it'd be quite scary. Another fact about myself, actually, which I've just rediscovered, is I used to love Lost, the TV series, which was on, I think in like 2004, 2005 is when it started. I just got Disney Plus, so I started watching that again, and my God, I remember loving that show so much. It's not like now where you sort of, the whole series comes available straight away. You had to wait week by week for it to come out. So I would watch the episode or download the episode because it would come out in America way before it would come out in the UK. I'd download the episode illegally, watch it, and then it would go onto like these online forum sites and try and find out all like the behind the gossip and behind it all and everything. And that was so much fun. So that was a show which I guess before all of these sort of like Breaking Bad and then everything where like you would binge watch series, before that came around, this was the one series for me which really grabbed me. And I've just been watching it on my phone recently, like when coming into the tube, when getting the tube into town, been watching it on there, and that's been so much fun. So that's a little bit about me. Yeah, I used to play a lot of golf, really enjoy going to the gym. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be more to find out over the coming years. How long did it take to become a barber? I'm thinking about becoming one. That's an interesting question, because that's kind of like saying, well, how long is a piece of string? Because also, even now so I've been cutting hair for just over 5 years, and I still feel like I'm learning things now, and the understanding becomes deeper. I think first year when you start learning, you feel like, oh yeah, I know everything, and then you go for a period of time, you're like, oh my God, actually I know nothing. And now it's got to a point like where I feel very sure and very confident in my ability and my skill set, but also knowing that there's still lots of ways to be able to do things differently than the way I cut hair, and new things to learn, because also you don't know what you don't know, do you? So I guess, to be honest, the first day I picked up a pair of scissors, that was me as a barber. So it took me one day to become a barber, because I knew that's what I was going to be doing. But at the initial course which I did, that was a 9-week intensive course. I think it's a bit of a dodgy one, because I think the way they sell that is that you do this 9-week course, and then that's you as a barber, and you can go and earn lots of money, and that's you then set for life. Whereas I think I was quite lucky, because I went into that 9-week course knowing that I was going to know absolutely nothing after that 9-week course. It would give me some good fundamentals to be able to keep learning off the back of. But I very much knew, or I didn't buy into the thing of, oh, you're going to be a barber. I did that 9-week course, and then I was very lucky to get into this great barbershop in Covent Garden called Ruffians. They continued to train me up, put a lot of effort into me. I would do a haircut, they would go over it, refine it, tell me how to improve it, what I should be doing differently, come up with different ideas of what haircut to do on that person. So through them teaching me, that allowed me then to get onto the floor, to then be able to keep cutting hair, and to then be able to get to a standard where I could charge the full price for that. And I think that was £50 for a haircut where we were there. And then every place and every shop which I've worked at since, you're constantly learning and picking up different things off people, because there is so much to learn, and there is so many. Well, what's interesting about the hair world is there's so many different ways to be able to get a very similar look. So you find your way along the path of what seems to make more sense to you. I completely immersed myself in the hair world. So I used to watch loads of different videos on YouTube from hairdressers, from barbers. I would ask all the barbers that I was working with at the shops how they would do things or why they were doing that. And it's just having that inquisitive mind and trying to keep on learning. I think I got to a point where I kind of felt like, okay, well, I know how to do everything. Anything that comes in the shop, I feel completely comfortable doing, which is why then I think I tried to learn how to do the makeup on any of like the session shoots. I know how to do like the grooming and the makeup for them, so I really enjoy doing that. But it was because I wanted to learn more, and it's the same way I've continued to learn how to get like the proper microphone, the proper camera, the proper lens, the lighting setup here, of not necessarily helping me to be a barber, but it's sort of all based around the hair world, and it's having that hunger and wanting to keep on learning. So you never really, oh, I'm a barber now. There's always extra things to learn. It doesn't say, oh, it takes 1 week, or it takes 10 weeks, or it takes 2 years. It's different from person to person as well. What products do you use when you're shaving or shaving a customer? Well, there's no like one set product company which I use. I'll sort of mix it around, but basically I'll go through the same process with everyone. Say if I was shaving someone in the shop, it'll start with a gentle face wash. So we'll use that up, something that foams up a little bit, nothing that's an exfoliator, so no like beads or anything there, because you don't want to stress the skin any more than what it's already going to be stressed when you're shaving it and using the lather. So something that foams up, clean the face. Obviously then we put the hot towel on, so that then cleans off all the suds or any of the residue from that. Use an oil. I tend to use an argan oil. I quite like an argan oil. It softens the hairs down, but it's nothing really too greasy or too heavy. Use a shaving cream, something that whips up with the bowl and then with the brush. The brush is great because it exfoliates the skin. You've dunked it in hot water, so it's continuing to warm and lather up and prepare the face better. Then obviously I'll shave, do the whole shave on them. Shave the razors, which I love using on someone, is a feather razor, and it's a real nice, expensive. The blades on there are so much nicer than like the normal disposable snappy blades, or the blades which you see when I'm doing the shave on myself. They're fine, But the blades from this brand Feather are just like a different level. It's just really nice. I think so. For a pack, for example, of the double-edged blades, which I'll normally use when shaving myself, they're about £4 for a pack, for example. But the blades which I'll use on the Feather razor, I think they're about £20. So obviously it's just better quality. Then I'll use the Allen block after to then seal the skin, especially if there's any sort of like spots or any redness. That sort of tightens the skin up, helps to soothe that. It does sting, but it's part of it. There's no real. A lot of people say, "Oh, where'd you get your Allen block from?" And it's all really the same. I mean, the one I use is from Mueller, and it's a really nice shape to it, and it's got like the sort of the little rope through it, so you can stand that up or you can hang that up in the bathroom, so it looks great. But it all does the same job. I'll use then an aftershave cream or a moisturiser, something just to really nourish the skin, and then I'll use something like a splash, an alcohol splash, or an aftershave like spray, or no, the toilet, or something, just then to be able to put that into the face like that. And it's there's no say one particular brand which I am like I have to use that. I do love using the Mueller stuff. The Mueller stuff is lovely products. I do really enjoy that. Another brand which I do love using, which again it's like another price point up, is from Klaus Porto and their Musgo Real range. The Musgo Real range, I think it's from Portugal, and it is so nice. It's like a real expensive, lovely smelling scent, and it's great, really cool. Who inspired you to start making content? Well, that is an easy question, and the guy is called Gary V. The whole reason why I've created any content or done anything online over the past few years is all down to Gary V. It's interesting. I've never met the guy. I feel like I know him inside out and know everything about him. But I would say, I've never met him, but I would say he's one of the top 5 influential people in my life, without a doubt. He's had one of the biggest impacts in my life, and I've just never met the guy. So it's really bizarre. Like if you don't know about Gary V, I'm not going to be able to do him justice by talking about him, but what I'd say is go and learn and go and follow him on a few pages. Listen to him. He talks so much sense. I think initially he's quite brash and quite loud, so it's all a bit like in your face. So I think, say when you first watch him, you might be a little bit put off, but then once you sort of get past that and actually listen to what he's actually trying to say, and you've watched a bit of his content, you get the real context of who he is and what he's about. It's fascinating. Yeah, he's been the whole reason that's given me the confidence to do this. And I guess enabled me to change my life, because it has changed my life completely. So, yeah, it's without a doubt, Gary V has been the inspiration for it. Favorite experience while cutting hair? Now, this is a great question. So people often ask me, what's your favorite haircut? And I would say, because I've got to a standard where I feel like I can do any type of haircut and it's no stress. I can just do it and it's fine. I don't really have a favorite haircut, but there's 2 haircuts which stand out in my mind now of the experience being incredible. And the first one was when I was at Spitalfields Market at Barber, and there was this American gentleman. He came down, had super long hair. We had the consultation, and the whole say a haircut normally would take like 45 minutes. I think he was in the chair for like an hour and 10 minutes, because we were just talking, and it was just, when you just get on with someone so well. And I remember just he understood me, I understood him, and we just had this like real intense connection, and which sounds a bit weird when you actually say that out loud, but it was just fascinating to listen to him. And it was like 2 old friends that you've just known for your life, and just we're having this conversation. It just flowed, and like I think it got quite deep. And I remember just at the end of it just having goosebumps, and just really, if I'm being honest, like I can't actually remember what we talked about, but I remember the feeling of what it gave me. And yeah, that was brilliant. Number 2 was when I was at Joe & Co in Soho, and this would have been in 2019, and it was an Australian gentleman, and we got really deep with this as well. And it was, I'd say actually this one was more impactful, and he told me to read a book off the back of it. I did read that book, and that gave me so much confidence as well. It was a really, really, really great book, and I remember that whole conversation we had. It was just like I had goosebumps the whole way through it, and he was really inspiring, really motivating. It was great listening to his story. Those two moments and those 2 haircuts are without doubt my favourite, best 2 experiences whilst cutting hair. And like I can't remember really the conversations too well, but I 100% remember the feeling of what they gave me. And fantastic, and will stick with me for an awful long time. And that's why I feel so lucky to be able to cut hair, because you get those experiences, you get to meet new, exciting people, especially being in London. You get to meet just wildly crazy, interesting people that are just are doing things with their life. And yeah, I feel so lucky to be able to be cutting hair, which is also one of the reasons people asking me now is like, oh, do you think you'll still keep cutting hair if like, because the content's going really well? Without a doubt, I'll never stop cutting hair, because those experiences and the potential for those experiences are so valuable. And yeah, especially being down in London, I feel very lucky to have had them. Right, wow. Thank you for watching. I think I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to bore you all too much, but I think I'm going to do a few more of these videos actually, because I actually really enjoyed recording this. I normally do enjoy recording like Men's Grooming Weekly, where I do like the whole process of the product review and the men's hair icon, and then answering a question. But actually today, this feels like it was actually a really fun thing to do, just to talk about and just talking to the camera, and it feels more relaxed. And yeah, so I'm going to do much more of these. So I think I'll leave it there, and then I'll do a few more of these. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know if you did enjoy it, or if you feel like it was actually a waste of time. But yeah, thank you for watching if you did get this far. And if you're not subscribed, give that little subscription a little click right now and give it a thumbs up. Have a brilliant rest of your day. Much love, Elliot.